I never thought I'd write any of this down. Heck, I never even believed in the supernatural before. But after what happened last night, I can't keep it to myself any longer. You see, my dog Jasper has taken to barking at the same exact spot in my backyard every single night for the past week. At first, I figured it was just a raccoon or a stray cat. I live in the suburbs, and wildlife shows up now and then. But last night changed everything. It started about 10 days ago. I was up late, working on my laptop in the living room, when I heard Jasper's first barks. They were low and urgent, a kind of staccato that instantly set my nerves on edge. I glanced at the clock, 2:17 a.m. I rolled my chair away from the desk and peered out the window behind me. Jasper, my 8-year-old German Shepherd, stood rigid in the backyard, hackles raised, tail stiff. He fixed his gaze on a dark patch of lawn just beyond the old oak tree. I shrugged and muttered, "Probably a possum," then went back to my emails. By the second night, I was starting to get annoyed. Zoom calls, deadlines, pets. Jasper's late-night barking was the last thing I needed. But there he was again, 2:17 a.m. on the dot, barking at that same spot. I threw on sweatpants, grabbed a flashlight, and stomped outside. Jasper growled under his breath, low and guttural. I flicked on the beam and swept it over the grass, scanning for movement. Nothing. No raccoon, no stray, just the spotless grass shining pale under the beam. I called his name, "Jazz, it's okay, buddy." He whirled around to look at me, eyes glinting with an intelligence I've never seen in a dog before. I swear it was almost like he was warning me, but when I stepped forward to shush him, he backed away, still growling. I sighed, shook my head, and told him to come inside. I locked the back door and went back to bed. Night 3, same scene. I set my phone alarm for 2 a.m. so I'd be ready. Jasper barked. I dashed outside, flashlight in hand. Nothing. I tried listening for rustling, for anything out of place, but my own footsteps sounded too loud. I felt foolish, like I was losing my mind over a harmless little mutt. I began to wonder if Jasper had seen something I couldn't. I fiddled with the motion sensor light, convinced that if it flickered on, we'd catch whatever creature was out there. But the light refused to activate, no matter how much I tapped it. Jasper kept barking until my phone battery died. By night 4, I was too exhausted to argue. I hoped if I ignored it, Jasper would eventually give up. But nope. 2:17 a.m., there he was again, snorting, baring teeth, eyes wild. I groaned, flicked on the light switch in the living room, and wandered into the yard, wearing my bathrobe. My flashlight had mysteriously vanished, so I grabbed a lighter from the kitchen to look around. The flickering flame cast jittery shadows on the oak tree trunk, making it look like something else was out there. Jasper glared at me, then back to the spot. I felt tempted to just leave him out there because, frankly, I was sick of being woken up at ungodly hours. Something about the way he barked, insistent yet fearful, made me pause. It was like he saw the silhouette of something monstrous, and he wanted me to see it too. But every time I shone the lighter's feeble flame, nothing was there. Just grass, just twisted shadows. I whispered, "Show me." And Jasper sat down abruptly, tail thumping against the ground. He stared into the darkness, unmoving, listening. That's when I heard it, a low, distant bark. Not Jasper's bark, deeper, hollow sounding, echoing off the fences around us. I froze. Jasper's ears perked up, and his bark stuttered into a whine. I dropped the lighter. It clattered and went out, plunging me into darkness. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would break my ribs. I heard the other bark again, closer now, as if something on the other side of the fence was calling him. Jasper let out a terrified howl and bolted into the house. I scrambled behind him, fumbling with the lock, slamming the door shut. I leaned against the door, panting. My mind raced. What the hell was that? I muttered. Jasper cowered at my feet, shaking like a leaf. For the first time, I wondered if he knew more about that spot than I did. Night 5, I called a friend, an electrician, to fix the motion sensor light and maybe install a camera. He arrived mid-afternoon, suspicious of late-night jobs. He tested the sensor. It blinked to life and turned the yard into a strobe-lit stage. I set up an old security camera I'd bought years ago but never used. I positioned it on the patio, pointed at that damn spot. Everything was primed. That night, I forced myself to stay awake. My laptop screen lit the living room as I scrolled through footage from the camera. Time ticked by. 1:30, 1:45, 2 o'clock, 2:16, 2:17. The camera whirred, then the footage showed Jasper sprinting to the fence, snarling at the spot. And then I saw it. A dark shape creeping around the base of the oak. A hunched silhouette, too tall for a raccoon, too thin for a stray dog. Its head jerked as it barked low and gurgling. Jasper's eyes widened. He barked back, and it answered again in that demonic way. The thing tilted its head and stared right into the camera. Its eyes glowed faint red. And then the screen cut out. I slammed my hands on the desk. The camera's indicator light went dark. I raced outside and found the camera lying face down. Lens cracked, the SD card missing. Jasper stood silent by my side, ears flat. We retreated inside. I tried the camera again. Dead. I didn't sleep at all that night. I sat in the living room with all lights on, dog at my side, trembling. I broke a chair, leaning over the desk, staring out the window. Dawn finally crept in, and with it came a grim resolve. Whatever this was, I had to face it. Tonight would be the last. I spent day 6 preparing. I drove into town and bought heavy-duty floodlights, extra security cameras, and motion sensors. I picked up pepper spray and a baseball bat. Stupid, I know, but something to cling to. I stocked up on batteries and extension cords. By evening, I had the backyard transformed into a mini fortress. Bright lights aimed at every corner, cameras perched on tripods, cords snaking across the yard, leading to power strips and my laptop inside. Jasper watched me work, ears perked but tail wagging uncertainly. I whispered, "Tonight, we end this." Night fell. I strapped my phone to my belt, palm flashlight clipped to my jeans. I armed the pepper spray, placed the baseball bat behind the couch, and clicked record on every camera. Then I sat at the desk, laptop humming as the night's vigil began. 11 o'clock p.m., 12:00 a.m., 1:00 a.m. Nothing more than the occasional cricket. I checked each camera feed in turn. Front door, side yard, fence line, all clear. Jasper nestled at my feet, yawning, looking almost asleep. I had to fight the drowsiness. I downed a cup of coffee, my hands shaking as the caffeine hit. I stared at the screen, waiting. 2:00 a.m. My heart thumped. Jasper sat up, ears rotated toward the back door. I glanced at the clock and sucked in a breath. Time to move. I grabbed the bat and quietly opened the door. Cold air hit me. I flicked on the floodlights and motion sensors. The yard glowed harsh and white. Every leaf, every blade of grass, every knothole in the fence was visible. I crept forward, Jasper behind me, hackles up. I nearly tripped over a power cord, cursed under my breath, and shook my head. Focus. I reached the oak tree. There, right where Jasper always barks, I saw something weird. The grass blades were all bent in the same direction, like someone had hammered pegs into the ground and then yanked them out. Scattered, but deliberate. I crouched down, heart pounding. I touched the bent grass. It felt stiff, like it had been burned. I smelled it, charred, acrid, like an electrical fire. My breath caught. I looked up, and Jasper growled low. From the corner of my eye, I saw something move. A shape slithered behind the tree, tall and thin, limbs too long. My stomach dropped. I raised the bat, my knuckles white. "Who's there?" I called, voice louder than intended. The shape froze, then stepped into the light. I blinked, certain my brain was playing tricks. It was a dog, no, a parody of a dog. Standing on two legs, hunched. Its fur was matted, patchy, skin beneath a sickly grey. The eyes glowed red, sunken deep into the skull. Its mouth opened in a grin that stretched too far back, revealing jagged teeth like broken glass. It barked, a sound that shouldn't belong to any animal. Deep, wet, echoing like an empty chamber. Jasper raced forward and jumped at the creature's leg. The thing turned, snapped its head toward Jasper, and growled. Its bark became a roar. I shouted, "No!" and swung the bat. The wood cracked against something hard. The creature yelped, human and animal in the same shriek. It lifted its ragged paw and swiped at me. I blocked with the bat, stumbling back. The bat splintered. I backed away, heart hammering. The creature advanced, limping oddly, dragging one leg. Jasper snarled, hackles bristling. He launched himself at the beast. They crashed together, snarling, rolling in the dirt. I grabbed the pepper spray and fired. The mist hit the creature's face. It screamed and recoiled, foam oozing from its mouth. Jasper skidded to a halt, confused. The creature shook its head, blood and pepper spray dripping from its eyes. Then, impossibly, it spoke. Its voice a gravelly half-bark, half-whisper. "Jasper." My blood ran cold. It knew my dog's name. I froze. The thing staggered toward Jasper, whose tail tucked between his legs. "Your dog," it rasped. "Taken." I felt the world tilt. Taken. My chest tightened. I realized this thing wasn't here to kill me. It was hunting Jasper. Without thinking, I charged. I tackled the creature, bat in one hand, pepper spray in the other. We tumbled to the ground, dirt in my mouth, rasping breaths filling my ears. It wrapped one long arm around me, pinning my shoulder. I flailed, sprayed pepper at its face again. It screamed, a sound like metal scraping stone. I kicked out, struck its hip. Something in its movements looked familiar, like the lanky, shambling gait of a neighbor's dog, missing since last month. Had someone done this? Some sick experiment? My rational mind raced for an explanation. But the thing, no beast broke free, lurched to its feet. It looked at me with those burning eyes and whispered, "Find her." And then it vanished. Jasper whimpered beside me. I scrambled up, scanning. The yard was empty. The floodlights still burned, the cameras blinked. The only other sound was Jasper's whine. I dropped to my knees and gathered him into my arms. His fur felt wet, droplets of what I hoped was only my sweat. I ran inside, slammed the door, locked it. I checked the cameras. Nothing, no sign of it. My phone lit up, a text from an unknown number. It read only, Find her before she finds you." My vision blurred. Who?" I whispered. Jasper licked my hand, eyes wide in the glare of the screen. I had no idea what I'd just unleashed, but I knew that her meant someone else, someone precious. My mind flipped to my neighbor's missing dog, Bella. Tiny poodle mix, vanished 2 weeks ago. And then the word sank in. What if this beast was connected to Bella's disappearance? And worse, what if it had taken someone else too? I couldn't stay here. I needed answers, and I needed to protect Jasper. I packed a bag, leash, water, pepper spray refills, my phone charger, and grabbed the spare key. I flung open the front door, and the camera feed sparked on my laptop screen from inside, showing an empty yard, except for 2 tiny paw prints in the dirt. One was Jasper's, the other too small, too human, like a child's sneaker imprinted next to his. I ran back outside, heart pounding. The prints led to the fence, then stopped. A single handprint smeared on the wood. A child's hand. Panic surged. "Jasper, come on!" I yanked him toward the gate. My neighbor's house sat dark, windows shuttered. I burst through the side gate, only to freeze. There, in the driveway, stood a little girl wearing a pink nightgown, face turned away. She held something small in her arms. Jasper barked softly. She didn't move. I whispered, "Sweetheart?" She turned. Her face was pale moonlight, eyes black voids, mouth curved in a serene smile. In her arms was Bella, limp and lifeless. My scream tore through the night. I bolted backward, tripped, and slammed onto the rough driveway. Jasper leapt beside me, fur bristling, low growl slipping from his throat. The girl took a step forward, humming softly, a lullaby I couldn't place. Each note sent ice down my spine. The poodle's body hung limply in her arms, head tilted unnaturally. My breath came in ragged gasps. I fumbled for pepper spray. The girl's smile widened. "He's mine," she cooed, voice echoing like wind through a grave. "And now, you are too." Shock froze me. The phone buzzed in my pocket. Another text, this time from Jasper's number. My blood ran cold. I'd changed his ice cream shop loyalty card to Jasper when he chewed through the plastic. Somehow, the beast had discovered it. I inched backward, dragging Jasper with me. The girl tilted her head, as if amused by my fear. Bella's poodle eyes blinked once, twice, then glazed over, dead. The girl's body shimmered, silhouette elongating, stretching taller. Her face twisted into the same jagged grin I'd seen on the beast under the oak tree. She spoke again, words slurred. "You found me. Now she finds you." I screamed, yanked Jasper up, and sprinted down the driveway. I heard the girl's footsteps behind me, light, quick, unearthly. I reached the sidewalk and darted into the street, looking for a car or a neighbor. Nothing moved. Even the streetlights flickered. I glanced back. She stood at the driveway's edge, arms outstretched, humming that lullaby. "Wait," she called. "Come back, play with us." Every instinct screamed to turn, but I held Jasper's leash tight and ran toward town, straight into the streetlight's glow. A car approached, bright headlights. "Help!" I yelled. The driver slowed, slammed on brakes. "Sir, please help me," I panted. The girl's form appeared behind me, walking in the open road, as if drawn by my panic. The driver watched her slide into the light, saw her grin, recoiled, and sped off. I shook my head, tears blurring my vision. I sat on the curb, clutching Jasper, shaking. My phone buzzed again, from the same number, a photo, I opened it with trembling fingers. It was my living room in daylight, camera swinging. In the photo center stood a single red rose in a glass vase on my coffee table. Beneath it, scrawled in black marker on a piece of paper, "Your turn." My blood froze. I looked down at Jasper. He licked my hand. His eyes. I blinked. In his pupils, I thought I saw 2 red dots, like the creature's. I shook my head violently. No, it couldn't be. Jasper shook himself, tail wagging lightly, eager for comfort. The normal dog returned. I exhaled, closing my eyes. It was just me, losing my grip. I picked up Jasper and limped toward Main Street. Shops were closed. The only open place was the 24-hour diner at the corner. I flung the door open. The waitress looked up, startled. "Sir, is everything all right?" I gasped. "Please, help. Crazy thing in my yard." She frowned, glanced outside. "Sir, you look... I'm calling 911. I shook my head. "No, just coffee, please." She hesitated, then poured a cup. I sat in a booth, body rigid, listening for sirens. None came. I sipped the bitter brew. My hands shook so violently, I nearly spilled it. I told myself this was a prank, an elaborate trick by bored teenagers. But the flash of that red grin, Bella's lifeless eyes, the text from Jasper's number, none of it fit. I stood, paid, and walked back out. The night air was biting. I glanced at my watch, 3:12 a.m., exactly 35 minutes after I'd fled. I decided to head home, call the police myself, get the text traced. As I rounded the corner, I saw my house in the distance. The floodlights were on, glaring. The curtains in my living room were open. A silhouette moved inside. My legs nearly gave out. This was the moment. Confrontation or final escape. I crept forward, heart hammering. I beat on the front door. "Police," I yelled. No answer. I yanked open the door, unlocked as always. I stepped inside, flashlight in hand. The living room was immaculate. Coffee table clear, no rose, no paper. A chair lay toppled near the couch. I swallowed. I checked the cameras on my phone, offline. Every floodlight switch was off, every camera unmounted, wires cut. In the kitchen, I found a note taped to the fridge. Familiar handwriting, my own. It read, "Run." I whirled around. Jasper sat at the top of the stairs, tail thumping against the wall. He barked once, then again, lower this time, gravelly, like a warning. My blood turned to ice. I froze. From the darkness upstairs came a creak, the sound of a child's giggle, gurgling, warped. I looked at Jasper, whose hackles rose, fur bristling. Then, from the baby monitor I'd left on the nightstand, I heard it. A soft bark, followed by that lullaby, and a whisper, "Find me, find her." My breath caught. I dropped the flashlight. I backed toward the door, dog at my heels. The lullaby rose in volume, as if coming closer. A silhouette appeared at the top of the stairs. A little girl in a pink nightgown, that sickly grin shining in the darkness. She stretched out her hand and spoke. "Daddy, play with me." Tears stung my eyes. My mind shattered. I realized then the truth behind the creature under the oak tree, the beast that barked back, the girl who carried Bella, and why she targeted Jasper. Because she wasn't looking for my neighbor's dog, she was looking for her father. I screamed. Jasper yapped. 2 barks, one my dog's, the other deep and hollow. The girl giggled, and the lights went out. I never did find her. And sometimes, in the dead of night, I still hear a bark answering Jasper's, down in the darkness where the oak tree stands.